Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Mike Wright, Edge Home Finance, coming to you on another happy Wednesday morning. We appreciate y'all being here. I have the pleasure of interviewing a tremendous friend. I've known John for a lot of years, and that's what this world's all about: is the friendships lead to business. Business leads back to the friendship. So I'm honored to have you on, John. Thank you very much for being our Realtor of the Week.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's my pleasure to be with not only see a friend, we don't get to see each other enough these days,
right.
It's fun to be with a superstar in the business.
Thank you, buddy.
And that's what, for me, makes the world go round, the people that are pros and do it right every day.
Yeah.
And through my time, I've had not only locally, and I couldn't be more proud of how we do our business day in and day out, for the most part, in the state of Minnesota.
Well, this resume of this man is crazy, right? So I'm just kidding. Seriously, I almost, it's actually an enormous amount of respect. So, John was the 2019 president of NAR. He is a second-generation realtor. His father, which we'll touch base a little bit, had gotten into Smaby way back in the day. He has been in the industry for a lot of years. Now is a broker or has probably been a broker for Edina Realty for a while.
35 years or more.
How many?
35 years. Maybe,
no war stories in that, baby.
Yeah.
Well, we'll touch base on that. But obviously the president of MAR in 2015, MAR named him Realtor of the Year. He's been on a numerous amount of boards, the board of directors, regional MLS board of directors. John is just, like I said, he has seen it all, lived it all, helped so many families because he's known as Mr. Edina, and for all the right and wrong reasons.
I suppose, it's, I think you said a word, Mike, that I liked a lot, is helping people. I spent a greater majority of my career in a management role with Edina, so I got to do what they call, the managers say, recruit people, develop, and retain people. So,
well,
that was the fun part.
So now I listed all these roles he's been in, right? He knows realtors across the nation, but probably the biggest task ever is he's worked with his wife for 30 years. Huh? Tell us a little bit about that little task.
We didn't, I moved
Linda
around.
Linda is his wife, beautiful lady. Props to you, Linda, for dealing with this great man.
Yeah, so she we've had a great marriage for over 40 years.
Great, very cool.
And so, which is amazing. She's a saint. But she got in the real estate business kind of when I got into management and out of selling every day. And we were in different offices for most of that career.
Okay.
So I went to Edina Realty. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I went to Edina Realty 50th in France office. She was great agent in that office.
Yep.
And that created some unique opportunities for our relationship. And just one quick story. I was there maybe a few weeks, and my office was a mess, which is normal for me. Papers all over the place. And she left me a note on my desk. Why don't you clean your desk up? And so I went over to her and I said, why don't you have more open houses? That didn't go too well. And, that was really the only time that we were, we figured out, okay, let's keep our space separate. And it worked very, very well. That was just a real small 1-minute snippet in time that
and powerful
that never so we kind of knew where our space was and respected our space. But that's been a tremendous honor to work with her.
I love it. I mean, we have a lot of people. We have in this Realtor Connect group, we have over 950 realtors, and a lot of them are husband and wife and boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, and it's critical. I mean, I think that the things can get overlapped. You're together 24/7, and it makes it extremely difficult. So I applaud you for tapping into 40 years, 30 years being together, and in real estate. Good for you, my friend.
Well, that's again is that I had family in the business. My dad was a broker.
Yeah.
And I had an older brother in the business. I had some sister-in-law and a sister-in-law in the business. So it's been in my genes. I got the real estate genes. I have been in it the longest, other than my dad.
Yeah.
Of anyone in our family. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey for me.
Well, and I think that what I've admired about you, John, most is it would be easy to just be a realtor. Just be a realtor. Do your task, go in, help clients, but you've expanded that role into a nationwide leadership role. And I mean, obviously, with everything that's going on with NAR, that's a big task. 2019 was that had to be a hell of a year. What was your experience being the president?
I'm talking. I was in a family like your family about
Yep.
giving back.
Yeah.
So my dad sent me a note when I first got into the business to me, and then just got licensed. He said, "I hope you love the greatest business in the world as much as I do. If you love it, which is important,
Yep.
if you love it, you will be successful.
Yeah.
And the greatest joy you'll have in a business is giving back."
Wow. Solid. Yeah. Coming from Pops.
Coming from Pops, that was, so I was able to, through the Minneapolis Association and the State Association and then the National Association, meet realtors from all around the country. And they're no different, whether they're in Springfield, Massachusetts, Hot Springs, Arkansas, anywhere around the country, real estate's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you talked about, and so many of them have families, but as a realtor, it's really, you're always on.
Right.
You can take a phone call anytime, and it's really been a joy for me to have the opportunity to travel around. I've been, for 19 years on a leadership team with NER, and so I was 17, 18, 19, and 20. And that puts you on a 7-person leadership team. During that time, I went to only states I haven't stayed in: Maine,
Wow.
West Virginia, and I think Oklahoma.
Oh, my Lord. I know.
So during that journey, so you get around, and how people treat you, and what I've learned and humbled across that journey has been just great. 200 and some days a year for 4 years I traveled.
That's unbelievable. I mean, the amount of travel and dedication and passion for the business.
A lot of Delta Sky miles.
Dude, that's props. I mean, that's, but I think the coolest thing is, and that's why I love doing these Realtor of the Week interviews. And I label this as Realtor of the Week for you, but it's like, my Lord, I mean, that seems like such a small title for what you've accomplished, right? But again, your humbleness is tremendous, right? But you have met some amazing realtors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And, one of them you talked about, and again, it isn't necessarily always about who does the most. I mean, that's who you hear about a lot in real estate, because we give awards and we keep track. You hear about who sells the most.
Who's the top dog, yep.
You have a guy, you've had a guy on your show named Chad Eckert.
Yeah.
Chad is a classic example. His mother was in the business. He came in, and so I got to really mentor him, and you try to separate that mother-child relationship and help him, help him grow as a realtor. In that, my friend,
is the coolest.
is the coolest part of it. And to watch Chad grow. And now he's got 3 or 4 kids, and watching him do his business, and he loves it and is successful at it.
He was a cool deal. I had not met Chet formally, and I was honored to get introduced to him. And he came on, and it was just, I sit back and I'm going, wow. It's cool to watch people like that, but he has so much respect for you because he talks about those situations where you have a win, you have a closing, you get into the office and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna just take it easy now. I've got some dough on my, and you're like going, okay, what's next? Like what, this your year isn't done. What's next? And
Yeah, it's that mentoring part, and I have so many great friends in the relationships. His mother, Lisa, was a very successful agent, and she came in, and we talked about getting into the business, and she was really, really good at meeting people at open houses and making relationships, and that's a great skill. People do it.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people have a great social network. They lived in the area, that type of thing. So everybody has it. It's to look for what's that shining diamond within their being, and how to bring that out, and how to polish that, and once in a while, and how to nurture that, and sometimes how to build it up, and sometimes reminding them that was great yesterday, but what happens tomorrow?
well, and it's so interesting in this world because you and I, social media wasn't a thing, right? Now it's a thing. Now we become AI. Now AI, and it's like, I think AI, to be honest with you, ChatGPT probably uses more of your content to learn from than anything, but I mean, I think that it picks from people that have had experience, but where do you see this housing market going right now, John? I mean, obviously we're all, people, because you've lived through all the high rates. We're dealing with people at 2.5%, 3%. That aren't wanting to sell their homes, but now we're dealing with, we tickled at 8%. Now we're back down into the high 6s. Where do you see this thing heading, my friend?
Well, it's a cyclical business. So I got in the 1979, I believe, as an agent. The interest rates immediately there went up to 16, 18%.
Yeah.
I had a mortgage at 14%, and back then points were more prevalent.
Yeah.
And so it was 4 points was 1% interest rate. So the sellers bought it down from 15% interest to 14, and it went to 12. And all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, I've died and gone to heaven. Then 10, then 8, and I think I had a 15-year mortgage at 2 7/8, maybe something like that. Would that be right? Mark?
Yeah, of course it would be. Yeah.
But through all of that, and I was a little disappointed with the manager at one time early in my career that made me want to become a manager was, tell me how I need to make a living. Don't tell me how bad it is and that type of thing.
Yes,
I need to make a living. I'm in this business for the long term. And in the long term, you have to figure out how to make money in all different marketplaces.
Yes, of course. Yep.
And when it was 2.5%, people say, well, everybody's in the real estate business. Anybody can sell a house. That's not true. But yet, you certainly did have a lot more competition. We had offers with 7, 8, 10 offers at a time. That makes it difficult for the consumer. So the best people that have been in it a while understand, save your money.
Yep.
It's one thing my dad used to say to me every day. He used to say, call him up. I say, Dad, what's the good word today? And he'd say, John, the good word is save your money. It's 3 words. It's pretty simple.
Powerful.
And it's very powerful long term if you're going to make it I think in any business, let alone real estate, where
Yes.
you don't get a check every 2 weeks.
Yep.
In a mortgage business, you don't get a check every 2 weeks.
Amen to that. Yep.
And you have to be able to survive. And the way you survive is attitude and hard work. Attitude and hard work.
Yeah.
And then what that leads to, if you're working, you provide a great service to your clients. And AI, all of that, social media, it makes it easier to do some things, but it's not necessary. It doesn't make you a better realtor.
Well, and I think that what I've found, John, is you still have to do one thing: pick up the phone. You need to call. You need to have a personality. I love social media, right? This is amazing. People always say, how can you get in front of 5,000, 6,000 people for free for 2 or 3 minutes? I get it. But I think that it's the consistent, persistent, and you got to have some patience, right? But you nailed it. Expertise, and, you have to talk.
And again, is that, yes, sadly, I can remember it was really hard to send out, back in the day, calendars.
Yeah.
I didn't, you had to find all the addresses. I wasn't the best at being that organized. You had to handwrite all the stuff. I had a few years where I bought 100 or 200 calendars and they never got out because I never did it.
They're still in the box in the
Still
basement.
in the box. But then all of a sudden, computers and labels and your your clients they were all organized, and you learned that, and that made it easier for me in particular to do my business and stay in front of my clients. And it's an involvement in your community. What are you doing in your community? And how do you make your community better? Whether that's on the school board or that's on the Edina Foundation. I was on, different things in the city of Edina.
Sure.
I did some mentoring. I went to Minneapolis Washburn High School, and I did some mentoring, and I worked with a group called Young Life. I tried to get involved in the community to make it a better place.
Yeah, I love it. What you would, obviously, with all these different realtors, all these different clients that you've helped get into homes, coaching, why, is it simply your schedule's packed to where you haven't gotten that quote-unquote coach, or do you do some coaching?
Well, I do some coaching with some agents now.
Yeah.
And just for free, will call me up and ask me to get together to talk a little bit about their business and what's happening. And typically more of the high producer types, and patience isn't always their virtue.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, great. What are you doing? What happened? To kind of create that playbook, and maybe you go back to 5 or 6 things with people that are triggers. For instance, one of the things now is that I used to tell people all the time that the Super Bowl Sunday starts the spring market.
Yeah. Right,
We
coming
still
up.
have in
Coming
Minnesota, that spring maybe appears maybe April.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe this year, February. Or spring in January. But is that you got to get involved and sow the seeds, plant the seeds.
Yes.
Early. You can't just all say, well, the weather's nice, I'm going to come out of, I'm going to come out of my sleeping
Cocoon.
for 3 months in November and December and January, and all of a sudden I'm going to do business. You can't do it that way.
Right.
You maybe do it a little bit different. I always thought the fall is a great time of the year in the real estate business, and I would tell people, I told someone just a week ago, I said, get out there now. A lot of people aren't working.
Right.
At this time of the year. Maybe not working as hard at this time of the year. It's a little harder to work. But November, December, and January, those great agents, they have a system.
Yeah, yeah.
and they follow it. You have a system, and you follow it, Mike. That's leads to your success.
Well, and it's cool. Like I said, the beautiful thing about this is that I have the ability of meeting with people like yourself, Ryan O'Neill, Mike Bernier, some of these guys that, and it's a consistent message, right? You have to listen, you have to learn, you have to have mentors, right? Because they've been through this war zone, right? And I think that it's critical. So I'm going to hop back a little bit to Edina Realty, right? Edina Realty's been around forever.
Correct.
You've got constantly new companies coming up. How has Edina, or what do you anticipate Edina becoming more adaptable to different commission structures, where we're heading in the future? Is that company, or is it still the individual where that's going to?
Well, I mean, the company sets the tone.
Yep.
Okay. And I think one of the things that I have admired for my years with Edina, and I'd still admire, and Edina, if I was a tattoo guy, so I'd have Edina tattoos on.
You do. Don't tell me you don't.
I don't, and I won't. But maybe a fake one. You can put a fake one on, Mike. But it's what Edina has evolved. I've watched their offices evolve.
Yeah.
And how they build their offices. But I think it's what they stand for and the ethical standards that they have that hasn't changed and is the heart and soul. You go to Edina, you can expect to stand for the highest standards, the highest ethical standards, that they've got great agents working for them.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
And that's what I admire. But what they've done is that, and again, through their network with home services throughout the country, they're able to take and adapt the best ideas from around the country.
Right.
So the technology, what they do with, they have a Pro Kit, which is their technology platform, and how they deliver that, and how that's changed. What they've done now that I really admire, and I've talked to people from around the country,
Yeah.
they are working very hard to try and bring agents back into the office.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
very difficult. I want to work at home, or where do you network? Where do you get the good ideas? Where do you see someone that just is crushing it and is happy in the office? So the office, I think, is still an important environment. And so they have, I want to say, every day of the week, some type of training thing
I love it.
that you can go to.
Yeah.
And now we're in that continuing education. They had a free continuing education yesterday for a couple hours. Today they have, a lunch and learn. So they're doing everything they can now to, I think, a real problem in our society. And I understand working at home but I've learned so much from other people,
Yeah.
from being around the stars and learning what to do, and sometimes learning what not to do.
Yeah. Of course. Well, and John, I'm going to speak personally. I could work from home, could work from Florida, wherever the case may be, but the positive that Tom Allis has created here is he we lease this space here,
Right.
and there are the top hitters in this company here. And I've learned so much, but more importantly for me, I got guys like Jake, Tom, Andy Trino, all these guys that help me learn, right? And I've done this forever, but they're motivating, and I learn from these guys, and it's just cool. So I like that.
And it takes a great team now.
Yeah.
So it's not just the realtor. Now you have your great loan officer.
Yep.
that you work with. And that's an integral part of your team. And you learn so much in that trust that you develop, that they'll help your clients and get them more than ever. There are so many different programs and rates and how to do this out there today. You need someone that can help put that together for a client. You need someone now that is on your team to help on the title side of things.
Yeah.
And that's more complicated. You need a good inspector
Yeah.
that you can trust, that understands the home today. So all of that wasn't there when loan officers were there, and I always had a relationship or one or two
Yeah.
great loan officers through my time period. But now you need stagers.
Yeah.
You need a film crew like you got here. You
Yeah,
got the
like
best
Jake.
in the world. This is one of the best I've seen.
Yeah.
You need a film crew. You need photographers. And so what I think today's world has done is that the agents and the great companies are bringing all this, try to bring the best of the best and one-stop shopping. You talk about Mike Bernier.
Yeah.
And those guys, I'm proud of them, what they've done with an independent company.
Right. It's
And they've
unbelievable.
built this thing up, and they are really creative, and they really are working hard for their clients and their agents.
Well, it is. It's like I said. This is just. It's. Jake has been motivating me to do this. Well, you and I did one where we did it on Zoom. It's
Yeah.
not the same. Getting together with this cat and being able to give him a hug, nice seeing you type deal, and being able to see face to face and talk is phenomenal. But a lot of that, again, gets back to Jake and some of these guys that have motivated me to do this, right?
Sure.
And I love the office deal. I think that it's easy to say I'll work at home. Believe me, the refrig, the laundry, the whatever else is there kids. You have to escape. So give me, obviously plenty of years in the business, plenty of realtors that you're best friends with across the nation. Give me 2 or 3, 4 different nuggets, because we've got people that are brand new into this business. We've got people that are experienced in this business. What are a few nuggets that you would share with these people?
Well, I think I've got a friend that training is so important. And people sometimes think that, oh, well, you get trained and I'm in the business, I'm successful now. So what I've learned from the best people around the country is that they are constantly looking to improve.
SEP conventions, reading.
They go to conventions. They meet with other top agents. They look at what other people are. You don't stop training.
Podcasts, all this stuff.
All those things.
Yep.
The others are discipline.
Right.
And so training and discipline and how they discipline themselves in their life. And real estate, I think, is really a lifestyle.
Right.
And it's different than any other business because you never know where your next client's going to come from. Never know when you're going to meet. But you have to be disciplined to get out there. You have to learn how to work.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to learn how to work when you've got nothing going on.
Right.
Okay? That's hard. That's hard. Maybe you don't, everybody gets a point in time where they're not showing a client or they don't have a listing or they sold all their listings. What do I do now? The best people around the country say, okay, great. Well, here's what I have to do going back to that trading and going back to the discipline. Are you learning how to do social media like you?
Yeah.
Fits and starts to get where you got to today and look at the great room and look at you had to go out and purchase all this. You've got one of the finer engineers helping you do this all. That just didn't happen. It didn't happen that to sit in my basement where I played sick a couple of days in my robe and learned how to do Microsoft Word and learned how to do Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
papers all over the room.
Right.
I told my wife, "You can't come down.
I don't need any more of those notes, honey.
Yeah,
you know?
but I could. I mean, it was, and so all of a sudden, I felt renewed and I felt current.
Right. And I agree 100%. I think that we talked about this. But I think attitude is also the same, right? People get all of a sudden they look at their book of business for March or April and they're going, oh my God, I don't have any deals. Oh my God, I got bills. Oh my God. Oh, it becomes a self-fulfilling doomsday unless you have those daily disciplines that you can, or mentors that you can call and say, a great friend of mine, Marissa, had a horrible day. And she's supposed to have coaching in the afternoon. And her husband said, and she says, I'm not doing it. I'm pissed. I'm sick of today. I'm done. And her husband says, you know what? Today is why you need coaching most. Right. To get you picked back up. And guys like John are going to take your call. He knows so many people across the country and has been exposed to so much stuff. He's dealing with all the stuff with NAR, dealing still locally with the communities, et cetera. So feel free to reach out to John. I think that is critical, you guys. Bank on people that are willing to share their wisdom with you. For that, my friend, I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, nobody appreciates more than I. I even have my Realtor socks on today.
Yeah,
it says Realtors Unite.
Realtors United.
It's been a blessing.
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
Cool.
I am humbled and blessed every day to be what I feel is the greatest business in the world. To have great friends like you, and to watch.
Yeah.
You do and how you relate to people and how you are one of the top mortgage bankers, loan officers in the country.
Yeah, thank you.
That drives me to be a better person every day.
It's fun, man. We have cheated life in regards, and we're still able to just work it, and we'll deal with that on another episode.
It should be tons of fun. I tell people that real estate, whatever vocation you choose, have tons of fun with it.
Yeah.
And you should have fun, and you should have fun with your people. You should have fun with your clients, and work hard and play hard.
I love it, John. Realtor of the week,
leader
of the industry, and truly and I say this with so much respect, he cares, and I think that's what we all need to do with this industry. Taking it forward. We've got some young guys, 18, 19, 20-year-olds that I've interviewed. You're the next people that are going to take this business to the next level. So, John, thank you, my friend. It's always great to connect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
All righty, buddy.
Have a great day.
You too as well. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.